Hello, Troy Shaw here with Community Strong Magazine, and welcome to our second part with our interview with Governor Scott Walker. Topic: Black male unemployment.
Speaking of those jobs right now, speaking specifically about Milwaukee, black male unemployment is above 50% there, and we just honestly need to do something that is going to be a little bit more reflective of decreasing that number drastically. What are your plans, Scott?
Well, one of the big things we've been working on for the last year, and we're just getting at the point where it's starting to be implemented, Wayman Winston, the head of WEDA, the Wisconsin Housing Economic Development Authority, who's long had a presence in the city of Milwaukee, Reggie Newsom, the Secretary of the Department of Workforce Development, and Eloise Anderson, our Secretary at Department of Children and Families, have worked for about a year and a half now, actually, on something called Transform Milwaukee. It's particularly driven by WEDA, where they have dollars that in the past have been spread around the state, many times for low-income housing, but in this case, really targeting it towards economic development. We're going to make a $100 million investment in the city of Milwaukee, and not just in the city, but to the point where we can leverage that much or more through private sector investments, but really looking at a corridor that starts the north side, the 30th Street corridor, that classic industrial corridor, goes through the Menominee Valley, through the middle of the city, connects over to the Port of Milwaukee along the lakeside, and then ends up down in the Aerotropolis by the airport. The idea being is it really concentrates on some of the areas of highest unemployment, not only in the city, but in the state of Wisconsin. But instead of viewing that as a negative, one of the reasons why we targeted that area is from a business standpoint. Transportation is one of the most important components in placing and expanding the business. Indeed. That corridor is a great transportation link. In fact, it's one of the best in an urban area in the country. You've got freight rail, you've got interstate highways, you've got state roads and county trunk roads that are all high capacity. You've got the Port of Milwaukee, which is one of the pace setters in the Great Lakes, and you got an airport which, as we saw again today, has some of the lowest airfare costs in the country, and over the past decade has been one of the fastest growing airports in the world. There are some huge transportation benefits to an employer. So instead of just looking at it from, sometimes we do from a negative standpoint, saying, oh, high unemployment is a negative, and it is, it's an issue we got to address. We're trying to target that area, but sell it to prospective employers, saying, you've got a huge transportation corridor here. You've got it almost perfectly set up with a few improvements. That's perfectly set up, particularly for light industrial, advanced manufacturing, other sites like that. We can help you. We can make that connection. One of the big things, though, we're working on in the next budget is taking the next step beyond transportation and saying, beyond that $100 million investment, what more can we do to make sure that that people who are looking for work have the skills they need in manufacturing, in healthcare, and information technology, where the jobs are available today, they just don't have enough workers to fill those jobs.
And that was our second interview with Scott Walker. Stay tuned for our third. Remember to go out to our Facebook page at facebook.com/Community Strong. That's Community Strong, your community magazine.